Hey everyone, One Big Boss here, and as you can tell from the title of this video, we're talking Superpower Beatdown Ryu from Street Fighter versus the Green Ranger from Power Rangers. It's kind of a very heavy topic to discuss right now, and we all know that these Superpower Beatdown things are pretty much voted by the fans on who you want to see win. Because let's face it, when the White Ranger versus Scorpion battle came out, I instantly knew it was going to be the White Ranger due to popularity. Now, Scorpions is also based, because he's a very heavily popular fighting game character that's been around since the 90s, so the two of them clashing was actually kind of good, and they were both very close. Like I said, I understand that it's done by fans, but I like to give my rundown on why I think this guy wins over this guy kind of thing, you know? I think it'd be kind of cool. So without further ado, let's start it up, because I'm going to start with Ryu, because I used to play Street Fighter 2 way back in the day in the arcades, and I was actually playing that before I discovered what Power Rangers was. That's why I figured I'd start with this. So here we go. Ryu is pretty much his only name. He's an orphan. He was trained and raised by Master Goken, who taught him how to fight, learn, all this kind of stuff. He eventually ventured out into the world. He continued to train himself to just become stronger, better, find what it meant to be a true warrior, all that cool, you know, noble stuff that they do. Ryu has an incredible arsenal of techniques, fighting styles that he has used to win tournaments, enter tournaments, and to topple like very tough enemies, and one of the biggest ones that he ever had was Sagat. As you all know the story with that, he used the Shoryuken against Sagat and just gave him that big ass scar that's right across him. So, like I said, he's got a lot of techniques such as the Hurricane Kick, which seeing that as a kid in the arcades, a karate man doing that helicopter type kick and everything, that was pretty fucking badass. And you know, everybody across the world tried to fucking do that shit. We also have the famous Hadouken, which is one of the most famous attack techniques in all of fighting games. And, of course, everybody has always tried to do that, you know, and, like, if they got the sun in the background, they try to do it, you know, it's really cool. And, again, he's also got the very deadly Shoryuken attack, which you pretty much get all your teeth cracked when you get hit with that, especially in the Metsu one. One of my personal favorite techniques from him. He pretty much cannot be stopped. He fights with everything in his being and cannot be stopped. Now, he does have another ability that's not something he really calls on. He does have the Satsui no Hado within him, or the Dark Hado. That is a force where it pretty much is the evil within kind of stuff, the dark energy, all that stuff, and he brings it out, and true, it boosts his potential for fighting, and which caught the eye of M. Bison, one of the main bad guys of Street Fighter. Only problem is he can't control it. So for the Superpower Beatdown, I don't think we're going to be seeing the evil Ryu, which would be kind of cool if they did that. But still, he's a classically trained fighter, wanders the world seeking opponents from next to next to learn something new. His techniques are amazing and very powerful. His Hadouken not only can just like, it's just like a regular fireball, in later games like the Marvel vs. Capcom series, it becomes a gigantic ass Kamehameha Wave beam, which is really good. But still, that's pretty much Ryu in a nutshell. He's the base fighter of all the Street Fighter games, and he's actually really good. So, pretty much like, how can the veteran fighter who's been around since the, well, hell, like the late 80s, how does he stack up with the legendary icon, that of the most popular and famous Ranger of all time, the Green Ranger? Let's find out. The Green Ranger himself is also a trained martial artist, and when we first saw him in Power Rangers, played by Jason David Frank, he was known as Tommy in the show. He was the new kid in town who entered a karate tournament, and his moves were flashy and impressive, I gotta admit that, and he was really tough, like just as tough as Austin St. John's character, it seemed. Now, there were a lot of different ways that this went. He also, himself, he had the dagger, which was his weapon, like the other Rangers had their, you know, the lance, the sword, the bow, the daggers, and the axe and everything. He had the powerful dragon dagger, which, I mean, you know, it's a small dagger, but it seemed to do a lot of damage. He also was a very powerful martial artist as well, which only helped him with his ranger abilities. Now, again, they never really say how strong these people become with the actual Ranger morphs and everything like that, and as we've seen from a couple of things thrown out there by Jason David Frank, a couple of videos and pictures, it seems the fight's going to start off with both Jason David Frank and Ryu, which is kind of cool. But again, The Green Ranger also has the armor that protects him, which was like one of the coolest things you ever saw as a kid. Like I said, he's just a badass martial artist, and he's got the Dragon Sword. But much like Ryu's Dark Hado and all of his abilities of that nature, it's probably not going to be used in this fight. It's just going to be a base level for both of them. Now, again, both of them love a challenge. Both of them like to fight. I think it's going to be, honestly, it's going to be a real even fight if they really do something like this. Again, they could throw the Satsui no Hado into this if Tommy does morph. That would be kind of cool if they did that. I also believe that it is going to be a very close fight because you've got two very dedicated martial artists, and Tommy was one of the most powerful Power Rangers of all time. Like his character, the Green Ranger. I mean, even though Austin St. John did technically defeat him in the first time, and they were both very powerful together. So again, it's going to be interesting to see what actually happens for this fight. Again, they're both, in my eyes, they're both very equal. They've got the techniques, they've got the abilities, and both of them have actually got pretty awesome theme songs when you really think about it. If you go back and hear like Ryu's theme from Street Fighter 2 and the original Green Ranger theme that was playing whenever he fought by himself in the show, or it was about him and stuff, they had it. It was pretty fucking badass. So again, you know, that's my take on it. I personally think that Ryu might be the one who wins. I think, honestly, it would be something that they could do a draw on. I wanted to see a draw between Red Hood and Punisher almost, because I thought that would have been pretty cool, and it didn't happen, obviously, if you saw the last Bat in the Sun productions of the Superpower Beatdown. But I think something like this, where they're both very honorable, noble martial artists, it would be a great way to actually end that in a tie, pretty much. Like, you know, maybe both of them knocking each other out, or they both, like, just, you know, like, bow and go their separate ways or something like that. That would be kind of cool, you know? Could save room for a second beatdown next year. Either way, that's my 2 cents on it. This fight is supposedly going to be debuted by sometime this year, later this year, they said. So I'm looking forward to it. Jason David Frank, if you're not following him on Facebook or Bat in the Sun, go to it, because they're definitely going to be showing a lot from this fight, and I think that's really cool. So, as what I want to know is, what do you guys think of it? Like I said, I know it's fan base and everything like that, but what are your reasons to think why the Green Ranger will beat Ryu and Ryu will beat the Green Ranger? What do you think? Or do you think, like me, it's going to be a very even match and come out as a draw? I'd like to read people's thoughts and opinions about it, because I think it would be really cool. So, as always, everybody, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, because it's free, and in this day and age, free is a damn good thing. Thumbs up the video, all that cool stuff. My name is One Big Boss, and I will see you all next time.